Risa. Welcome back to my channel. Like me, I'm sure many of you have been noticing a seemingly endless amount of YouTube videos, Instagram pictures, blog posts, all dedicated to the new Urban Decay Naked Heat palette collection, all of it. A lot of influencers have been sent this palette early. A lot of hype is surrounding this palette. I haven't seen hype like this in a long time. So this video is dedicated to those of you who haven't quite yet fallen for the hype, but you really, really want to. And maybe one of the reasons why you haven't decided that you're gonna get it is because you know deep down that, number one, maybe you just can't afford it. It's just one of those things where YouTube and social media, they shove these things really down your throat almost, to the point where some people might actually feel bad that they can't get all the new things that they want to get. It's just so in your face, way more so than it ever was when I was younger. Anyway, I'm not one of those influencers that got sent this palette, so it's fine. I am happy to spend my own money on things, but I have to be careful with what I spend my money on. I can't go buy every new release, even though I want to. So I guess I'm addressing this video for those of you that might feel like me, where, gosh, you want everything that's new, you love makeup, you want everything to look so pretty, but you just can't. You just can't. And in looking at this palette, I thought, wow, they look gorgeous together when you put all those colors together, and Naked Heat, because it invokes feelings of just summertime. There's summer colors, summer sunset colors, just really beautiful shades. But then when I started seeing tutorials and swatches, I kept noticing my interest in the palette kind of went lower and lower, because in the tutorials I've seen, while they're very beautiful, a lot of them look very, very similar. There's not a whole variety of looks you can do with this palette, in my opinion. There's maybe like 2 or 3 colors in there in the metallics that really just caught my attention. I thought, oh gosh, I really want this palette just for those 3 colors. But then again, I was seeing tutorials and I thought, gosh, I feel like the overall look is very dupable. So basically, I wanted to put this video out in support of those of you out there that just are looking at that palette and really, really coveting it, but you just can't get it right now. But you wanna have that look. You wanna know how to achieve that very kind of summery, summer heat type of makeup look, perfect for a date night. I think the overall look is really pretty and was pretty easy to achieve, I have to say. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this, what I'm calling a summer heat makeup look with sort of maybe dupes of shades in the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, then please keep on watching. So starting with a flat shader brush, you can use any one you have. I'm just using this little one that comes in the palette, and I'm going into this highlight shade. So I'm not taking this color too far down. I am really keeping it right underneath the arch. If you are someone who has hooded eyes like me, you do want to keep this brow bone highlight just right underneath that arch, because if you bring it too far down, it's gonna make your eyes look even more hooded. Now, using any crease brush, this is a thin crease brush, Stila number 2. I'm using this Everyday Eyes palette, and I'm going into this taupey color right here. And again, what I have to do, because I have hooded eyes, is I have to look directly into a mirror, and with my eyes open, I push in to just above where I think my crease would be. So here's my crease. So I wanna go just above and make a little mark. Just go back and forth like so. And then once I have that done, I can go back and forth in that windshield wiper motion. And the reason why I go a little bit higher is so that you can see that color when my eyes are open. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect it to the outer corner of my lash line. So this is what it should look like. Now I'm taking a smaller crease brush. This one is from NARS. All of the numbers will be listed in the description box. From that same Everyday Eyes palette, I'm going into this kind of plummy brown color. And then I'm pressing this again on that outer portion of my eye and just working it right into the crease. I am not going as high as the first color, the transition color. I'm just keeping this right down here, swirling around. I want to add the most depth of color to my lash line, so I'm just going back and kind of pressing that area. And then again, making little circles. And don't worry if it comes down too far, you can always clean that up. Now the next thing I'm doing is taking a little eyeshadow primer. This one is just the Maybelline Master Prime. And I'm putting a small amount of that on my finger. And then placing it on the center of my lid. Trying not to cover that last color we just placed. So just a little bit, and what that's gonna do, it's gonna help the next color to really stick and be a little bit more vibrant. So going back to this plummy shade in this, okay, I have to apologize. I thought that other palette was called Everyday Eyes. They're all called Everyday Eyes. This one, the first one I used is called Earthy Elements. This one is called Plum Basics. So I'm going into Plum Basics, and I'm taking this shade right here, and then I'm placing it right on my lid. Now I'm taking a Sigma E25 blending brush. So now going back into Earthy Elements, I'm using this kind of reddish orangey color. Ever so slightly, these are really pigmented, so you do have to be careful. I'm just ever so slightly blending out that transition color. Or in essence, I'm making this my transition color, because this is the color that's going between that ivory shade and the first kind of taupey shade we laid down. And this is what's giving it that warmth. That really key element to that Naked Heat look has been like these orangey warm color. Another key element I noticed in a lot of Naked Heat looks is the combination of the kind of warm orangey tones with those real plummy tones. So the first shade I used was like more of a plummy brown with a little bit of shimmer. This one right here, again from the Plum Basics, is a matte plum with a little brown. And again, I'm going in just with the brush that comes with the palette, and I'm darkening up that outer V. Now, because neither of these palettes have that kind of like pinky, golden, rusty shimmer, I can't do that on the lid. But to be honest with you, because I know some of you are probably thinking, well, that doesn't really look like a color that's in the palette. Well, to be honest with you, sometimes when the overall eye look is very red, it can make the majority of people look pretty tired. So even when I saw it in tutorials, yeah, it looked okay on some people, but on other people, it kind of wasn't my favorite look because I felt like it really did make their eyes look more tired. Most people really need to use the red, orange, plum colors very, very sparingly, especially if you're someone over 35, over 40, your skin tends to get more redness in it already. So if you start using all those really, really warm colors against redness, even if you've color corrected with foundation, I don't know, sometimes it can just be too much, and just because it's popular on YouTube doesn't mean it's the right thing for you. I say that over and over, and I just wanted to reiterate that point. So going back with that plum shade and just building up. And then what I like to do is just take my finger and kind of blend everything together. Now I'm taking my NYC liquid liner and doing a slight wing. This look does not require a wing liner. I'm just in the mood to do one today. Let's see if I can actually catch this on camera. I usually can't. And if you've watched my videos in the past, you probably already know that I am pretty much the worst when it comes to applying liner on camera. So bear with me. Let's see how this time goes. Am I in frame? I have to stop and look and see if I'm in frame, because usually I'm not. And again, with a hooded eye, you don't want to cover up too much of that valuable lid space. So I keep it really, really close to the lash line. Really, really close. So I just touched my lashes to kind of get some of that liquid liner off, because my lashes have grown so much from using the lash serum. And look what I just did. Just got a big glob of black all over my lid. So I'm going to wait till that dries a little bit, clean it up, and come right back. Through the magic of YouTube, you won't have to wait, but I'm gonna have to step away and fix this mess I created. So I went and did the other eye while I was at it. All I did was I waited for that little bit of black to dry, and then I just kind of flicked it away with my finger, patted on a little bit more of that center color, touched up the outer corner, and it was all good. So now I'm gonna curl my lashes and add some mascara and be right back. Now using Stila dual-sided brush number 28, I'm going back in with that very first color we used, and I'm just placing that right under the lower lash line. Then using that same brush and this plummy color, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm focusing on the outer third of the eye, just this section right here. And next up, I'm using a very small pencil brush and that orangey color and just gently smudging out the lower lash line with that. So keep your touch here very, very gentle. I'm barely touching my under eye area. So now once that is completed, I can go ahead and add some lower lash mascara. And then I'm also gonna take a little bit of this more shimmery color. The ivory from the purple palette is matte. This one has a little bit of shimmer. I'm gonna use this with just a little sponge applicator and apply it to my tear ducts. So the eyes are done for now. I am considering popping on a couple individual lashes just to bump up the look a little. But moving on to my face, I am using this contour, highlight, and blush palette from Flower Beauty. You can get it at Walmart. I'm just using the contour and highlight. I'm gonna be using a different blush. And I just like to lightly contour my cheeks, my forehead, and the sides of my nose where I just use my finger. Now, as I mentioned in my last video, I usually like to put my highlight on before my blush versus blush then highlight, because I find that when I highlight, it takes away some of that intensity of the blush. And I just like the way it looks better when I do the highlight first and then add that pop of color. So for the highlight, I'm using a Morphe E20. And I'm just tapping on the tops of my cheekbones. I'm not one of those people that puts highlight on the tip of their nose. I'm just not a fan of it, but if you are someone that does like to do that, then by all means, go ahead and do what you like. So for blush, I'm using this quad number 3 from City Color, and I'm gonna be using this kind of peachy pink right here. So what I like to do is I kind of like to smile and apply it to the apples of my cheeks and brush it backwards towards my hairline. So because this is a summer heat makeup look, you can go ahead and put on a bright lip color. You can use a bright coral, you can use a bright pink. Either of those will suit this look, but today I am just going to do like a peachy nude, because while I said earlier this is not a dupe video of the Naked Heat palette or collection, I did notice that a lot of people were using the shade called Fuel in their looks, and it is described as a kind of peachy nude. It's not a matte, and I looked at dupes and I didn't really find any that I owned that were exact, but so I thought I would just stick to what this video is about, which is using products that are more affordable, readily available. So I'm using what I have, and this is the Revlon. This is the Revlon Ultra HD lip color, and the shade is, what is the shade? Seduction. I don't know if they could make it any tinier. It is so hard to read. And then the lip liner I'm going to use is from Jordana. It is called Honey Dip. So this is the completed look without lashes. So as I said earlier, I feel like I need a little extra something, so I am gonna go apply a couple individual lashes. I'm going to be using the Ardell Knot Free Double Flares. I'm just gonna add like 3 or 4 and come right back. So the individual lashes are on and the look is now complete. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I really hope that I got across the point that you don't need to buy every new palette that comes out on the market. I know that it's so difficult to kind of refrain when it's being thrown in your face constantly, especially if you are someone who likes to look at social media a lot and it is really pretty. I'm not gonna deny it's a really nice looking palette, but as you see, you can get a look just using similar colors, and I don't want anybody to feel bad about not being able to have the exact products that are used in a tutorial, because that's really not what it's about. It's nice to know exactly what products are used, but more importantly, you come to YouTube to better your makeup technique, I would think, and to look at reviews of products and things like that. But if you're here to improve your makeup skills, that's really what I try to express as much as I can, that it really is the brushes, the technique. It's not necessarily, or it really isn't at all about the money you spend. So if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to be notified when I put out new videos, then definitely please subscribe and be a part of our little YouTube family here. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook. All of those things are Risa Does Makeup. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon.